Hey folks, I'm Heath and this is the H Squared Experience. And today I want to show you how you take your one-piece single blade canoe paddle and go from this to this. Your very own DIY breakdown canoe paddle. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, to start out, I'm just going to show you, I have my Aquabound single blade one-piece paddle that I got years ago when I first got into whitewater canoeing. You don't have to have this paddle. You can use any paddle that you have lying around, as long as it's a hollow paddle essentially, so you can use an insert once you cut it in half. The downside is to figure out what size insert you'll need, you will have to cut it in half to see that step later in the video and get your measurements with any calipers or whatever device that you have. I'm also going to leave any kind of links that I have available of materials I use in this video. I'll leave that in the description down below. So let's check out how to get this thing done.
All right, as you can see here, this is the Aquabound paddle that I have, and this is the current price on Amazon if you were to buy this single piece canoe paddle. If you were to actually get this paddle from Aquabound Edge itself, you can see the price is significantly higher due to the shipping cost. And if you were to buy your own two-piece blade, it's even increasingly higher. So this is why I went ahead and opted to make my paddle out of what I already had existing at home.
You're going to need an aluminum insert or whatever type of insert that you plan on to use to put in your paddle. And then one of these, a kayak paddle push button. That'll be your insert that goes inside of the paddle. You'll need a set of calipers or something to measure the inside diameter of your paddle, so that way you'll know the outside diameter of what you'll need of the insert. What I've done here is I already have this pre-marked. What I have here is I have this piece of tape marked as far as I want it to go once it's inside the boat. I take this is the piece that will go inside the bottom of the shaft towards the blade, and it will extend no further to this. So what I know I want to do is mark back no farther than 4.5 to 5 inches for my preferred length of this to extend. I know this distance, I've marked it. Simply marked it back 4.5 to 5 inches. In this case, I've marked it at 5 inches. And this is where I know I'll make my cut. So what we have left to do is go ahead, take the paddle, and make the cut. Once I have it marked and ready to go, I can go ahead, take my kitchen knife, and just cut my blade. Just like that, nice and smooth. Okay, so maybe that's not exactly how I cut. Let me go ahead and show you how I actually cut the blade before I taped it and cut it with the kitchen knife. You can have a few different ways you can do this. You can use a saw, hand saw, a jigsaw, anything you've got, skill saw. I happen to have a plumbing pipe cutter here, so I'm going to show you what I did here to go ahead and make this cut. My insert that I'm going to be using is 12 inches long, and once I put it in the blade shaft, it's actually a couple inches longer than I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you here what I did and how I cut the blade itself by showing you on this piece of insert that I'm going to be using.
Okay, before we get too far into this, I want to go ahead and talk about this insert and how I got this insert, the exact size that I needed. So in this next clip, I'm going to show you kind of what I did using my calipers to measure the inside diameter of the shaft so I knew exactly what size insert to order.
Simply put your calipers inside and expand them to their farthest point. And if you have an oblong blade just like this on the shaft, then you'll measure in your smallest and largest spot in order to get what you need. All right, so what you can see is I have it marked here. I'm going to go ahead, put this blade where it needs to go on the mark and tighten it down. You can kind of see the mark here. I'm a little off. So there you go. I have it on the mark where it needs to be. And this cutter, you just simply start working it around And just slowly tighten this, crank this down as it goes. Then once it's done, you have it right there. Nice smooth edge. You can go ahead and clean that off a little bit too to make sure there's no burrs on this end either. All right, one of the next things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drill a few holes in this insert. And what this is going to do is, for when I put the epoxy on it, it'll allow some holes to just kind of, for extra grip, to grip the inside of the paddle shaft. This will just give it a little few extra places to grip and bite inside the shaft. All right. So the epoxy that I had was old and dried up, and I didn't realize that, so I had to run out and get some. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up. So I have it mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and apply it. I'll apply it on the insert, and as well I'll throw some inside the shaft of the paddle as well. And to help keep the paddle from getting all nasty, I put some tape on it. And I'll just take this, rub it down inside a little bit. And then simply just take this, shove it on down until it stops in there. And as you see, that tape will help keep that clean. And I'll go ahead and wipe this excess off as well. Get that all nice and clean. Make sure she's in there and set up. Now I'm going to allow that to set up, and we'll move on to the next step of putting it together and drilling it. All right. So what I've gone and done is I've gone ahead and assembled the paddle back together. I've taped it together here where the cut was. This way it will not allow the paddle to shift or turn as I drill the holes into the shaft. What I've done is I've gone ahead and found my center point, marked it with a piece of tape and a Sharpie mark. Now I'm going to drill a pilot hole, the next hole size up, and then finally the large size that I need to make the push button pin work. Next size up. Now, time to take it apart and insert the push button into it so it officially will work as a fully assembled two-piece breakdown paddle. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and pull the tape off here. Pull this tape off. Go ahead and pull it apart. And here, you can see how this marking works here to show exactly how far the paddle is going to come from my original mark. We're going to take the insert and we'll slide it down inside. Make sure it works smooth. Go ahead and put it back together and see how it works. And there she goes. A working, assembled, two-piece breakdown paddle. Pull it, take it apart. There it goes. Now let's go ahead and see how it fits in the boat. Moment of truth. Let's see how it works. Stern of the boat, open the bag, insert the paddle, and she fits. Insert the T-grip. And that works perfectly. If we ever have a paddle or lose a paddle, I have a nice concealed 2-piece paddle that fits in my Agent, which is my smaller boat, and then it'll fit in my Covert, which is my next smaller boat, and in any other boat size that I have.
Okay, here you can see the finished product of the paddle, the 2-piece blade that is put together to form the single-piece paddle that would be used out on the river. Hope you guys enjoyed and got a little something out of this. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.